What's up, VC? This is Brad from H2Vinyl. I'm coming really late to this party. That party is the Vinyl Tag 2019 video. Yeah, I saw Wes, Supra Wes, did his video a couple days ago. By the time I get this video out, it'll be probably a week ago. And it kind of was a big reminder to me, oh yeah, I want to do that. So, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I'm fashionably late to this party, but thankfully I only arrived 5 minutes after Wes. So thanks Wes. I've got my computer over here with the questions so I don't miss anything. So if I'm looking over here and whatnot, that's why. So let's get into this because, you know, I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, but we know that I can't make short videos. So this is going to be an hour long. Just grab a beverage of choice and have at it. Maybe even a meal. You might want to just eat this, you know, watch this while you're eating. Anyway, hopefully you don't get sick from this video. I don't know. Anyway, question number one, best find for 2018. Really wanted to try and keep this to stuff found locally. But a lot of my purchases, especially the most wanted stuff, was bought through eBay and Discogs. Pretty much Discogs. I've kind of stayed away from eBay when buying vinyl. But this one is unusual because I don't think I've ever done this before, and it's kind of a hybrid purchase where I found it on Discogs and then, wait, the seller is Foundation? We have a record store named Foundation. I know those guys. I bought my first bulk buy from them before they were even a store. They were a yard sale on Craigslist. And so I called them and they're like, oh yeah, we have that album. I'm like, I'll be by to pick it up later today. And it's actually, I think this was my second find for my most wanted albums of 2018. And so February month. And this is End Titles by Uncle. Quite possibly my second favorite. Maybe. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Second favorite, maybe my third. But this is kind of the sister album to the 2007 album, War Stories. A lot of the same artists that were on War Stories are on this one as well. I think this was released in 2008. Yep. Hey, look at that. Electronic, trip hop, some rock in there as well. Really, really great album. A lot of symphonic sound as well. Really like this album. It was one of my best finds of 2018. Let's do a shout out to VC channels. There are so many. I liked Wes's answer when he said there's a recommended section in YouTube to check that, and so kind of quoting him. I'll also say I don't do my due diligence when it comes to looking for new VC channels. I don't even do my due diligence on watching VC channels, like VC videos for some reason. Like I'm doing really well with New Year's resolutions and everything surrounding the VC, even listening to vinyl. Just haven't been doing all that well this year, and making videos is another one. So anyway, the one that I do want to shout out to is Brandon at Vinyl in My Veins. Brandon reached out to me early this year, like January or so, saying that he wanted to start up a channel. I think he reached out to a few others, but he was really curious on how I did the needle drops and if YouTube flagged my videos or gave me a lot of flack. And I said, not as of yet. they flag them for not to be monetized, but I don't want to make money off of this. So anyone, if you see commercials on the beginning of my videos, because I mean, I don't watch my videos, so and if I do, I have a server that has them all, so I can watch them there. But yeah, if you see a commercial at the beginning of my videos, it's not me. I don't make my money off of my channel. It's, you know, the commercialness of YouTube that somebody's making money off of me. Anyway, but the truth is, I play their music, so they allow me to do it. If they put a commercial at the beginning of my video, okay, fine. Vinyl in my veins, let's get back onto that. Brandon listens to a lot of rock, psych, a lot of blues, a lot of jazz. He's kind of all over the gamut. And Brandon, if you're watching this, it's been a while since I've seen a video from you. I checked your channel out earlier today and saw today being Sunday. You know, if you make a video this week, you're going to call me a liar. Sunday, March 24th. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a video from you, and I hope you're doing all right, man. I hope you're continuing at it. And if you're watching this, I want to encourage you to keep on keeping on. You have a lot of great stuff out there. I've learned quite a few stuff. Like one of the first videos I watched, I think it was your first or your second, and pretty much everything. Like, you've turned me on to quite a lot of new music. Pretty much everything in that video was new to me, and even like Aesop Rock, which is a rapper that I know it's one that I've forgotten about, and really listening to his newer stuff, and that was because of you, man. So yeah, cool. You'll probably be seeing some of that stuff later on my channel. So vinyl in my veins. There we go. Vinyl in my veins. Brandon, go check him out. Number 3, what holes are you looking to fill in your collection? I've got a lot. But Queens of the Stone Age debut album, surprisingly, I don't have it. So I'll be picking up their debut sometime this year, I think. I also have kind of this nostalgic factor going in me right now, where while I still probably have a lot of the 7-inch albums from my childhood, my 45 albums, 45 singles that I have, I don't have them here, and sometimes you want to hear a song, and that's the song you know, and the album is just different. You want to hear that song. So I think this is something I'm going to buy locally. I'm not going to go on Discogs or eBay to buy any 7 inches. I think what I'll do is I'll hit up Banana Music, who is in St. Pete, Florida. They have the large, probably the largest record store in America, and they have a lot of 45s, and a lot like Corey's VC channel. Also, trying to remember your newest name. It's really good. Just Add Vinyl. That's it. Just Add Vinyl. Yeah, he and Ron were digging through the 45s in that store and could not think of a single that they didn't have. So yeah, and so I'm thinking like picking up maybe 1 or 2 of those every few months. Not go crazy. I mean, it's like 3 hours away from me. And then the last thing that I'm honing in on this year is blues. The blues is what I'm really searching for. The sad thing is I haven't done very well with that. I've only bought 1 or 2 albums so far this year. I mean, blues albums this year. And so in the grand scheme of things, of everything I've bought, I've probably probably close to like 5 to 10% of my collection or collecting this year has been blues. So not a majority of it. Anyway, so those are some of the holes that I want to fill in my collection. What is a really good, cheap album? So inexpensive album. I went for around the $10, $15 mark. And this I think I got for $15 at the Orlando Record Show back in September with meeting up with DJ High Noon for the first time, Tim. I'm just going to go with the last portion of this, and this is Parliament, The Placebo Syndrome. My favorite song, Flashlight, is on this album. This is a great standout album. I mean, George Clinton, A+ in my book on everything, pretty much everything he does. There's a couple singles I don't like, but you know, Funkadelic, Maggot Brain is another one that comes to mind as well. Yeah, great album. And since I cop out on some of these questions, I'm going to do a second one for this. This is my favorite album by Michael Jackson, and this is Off the Wall. Got this in 83, either January of 83 or January of 84 for my birthday, from my aunt, who knew I loved Thriller so much back in the day, and she gave this to me as a birthday gift, and didn't like it at first. Crazy me, because I like this more now than Thriller, and this entire album is tremendous, and you could probably find this for around $8 to $10. Your favorite side project album. I was having difficulty with this one because I don't know if this is quite fully a side project. It's a super group. I've shown these guys before, and this is Them Crooked Vultures, their debut. They only have one album, so maybe a second's coming out. I hope so. There's rumors. This is a credible album. If you don't know this group, it's got Dave Grohl on drums and vocals. It's got Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age on vocals and lead guitar, lead vocals. And then it also has John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin playing bass and vocals. Dark, desert rock, beautiful album, tremendous pickup. And it's cheap. It's like $20. A song from an artist, a band that is uncharacteristic in their catalog. This one was easy, and this is Public Enemy working with Anthrax on Bring the Noise. This is off their 1991 album, Apocalypse 91, Enemy Strikes Black. Yeah, kind of hardcore metal meets hip-hop. Really good. Let's move this down. Last album you purchased. Well, I was planning on doing this video back in February, maybe late January, and had something picked out, but that would be a lie. I've bought stuff since then. And technically this isn't the last one that I've paid for, but this is the last one I've received. I bought this on Discogs in March 1st, I believe, and it arrived March 13th. And this is Blues, Son House, the father of folk blues. This is Quality Records pressing. Yes, that's right. And then put out by Analog Productions. And let me tell you, this album is incredible sounding. As I said, I'm picking up more blues albums, and by more blues, I've only picked up 2 or 3 albums. But I went through Andrew Tales from the Crate, his blues album. I'm using that as a primer to, so I have a list of stuff. I'm listening to it, and I'm really kind of diving in more to this. And Son House this is one of the first ones that I listened to. And I saw it at my local record store, but it was $60. And I'm like, oh, and it was a Quality Records pressing as well. I just wasn't ready to, like, that's my entire budget for a month almost, you know? And so, yeah, I just wasn't able to do that. But I found it on Discogs. It was brand new, little less than half the price. Go for it, do it. So I did it. Beginning of the year, beginning of the month, and yeah, just received this about 2 weeks ago. Great album, and it's on a recreated 2i Columbia label as well. I'm pretty certain that the original, since it's on a 2i, would sound incredible as well. So if you can find those originals, and I don't know what the prices would be, but I'll tell you, Quality Records pressing, top notch. I think that might be my first QRP version. Let's see. Okay, question number 8. A great album with a bad cover. This is kind of a cop-out answer because I've seen others comment on this, and that is Black Sabbath Paranoid. I just don't get this cover at all. A blurry guy with a lightsaber / sword standing next to what looks like a tree. Okay. Album, though, phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. I just don't get the cover. That's all. The 9th question I didn't answer, which is a bad album with a cool cover. Couldn't think of one. I looked through a lot of my collection and just didn't come up with anything. Number 10, a blues album. Well, I've shown you one, but let's go another one. And this is Willie Dixon, I Am the Blues. This is a phenomenal album as well. Purchased this with Ron Haggerty back in March when we did our first meetup. Since then, last year, 2018. And this album kind of fell through the cracks. I didn't make a video on it. I forgot I got it. It wasn't, I don't know what exactly happened. It was maybe off somewhere else. And when I dug it out later, I had already made the video. So, yeah, sometimes albums just fall through cracks and don't make it into videos. And this was one of them. So here it is. Great blues album by Willie Dixon. Check it out. An earworm song. So lately, especially after making Jeff Kempin's contest video for his 500 subs contest, been listening to a lot of Caius, which I didn't mention Caius in that video, but I could have. And been listening to a lot of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Caius Gardenia, I believe that's the name of the song, just has that same sound. I mean, Josh Homme's in it as well, so has that same kind of sound of an engine running, the band kind of thing. And I just love that sound. And it's the instruments, not necessarily the lyrics that get stuck in my head. It's just the almost droning of the guitars that I really enjoy. And Robot Stop, the entire instrumentality that they are, just, yeah, gets stuck right in there. But the most infamous, I don't know, words, English, the song that is the worst for me getting stuck in my mind is Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to play it. And I have the CD. I just don't know where it is. I packed a lot of my CDs away, but yeah, there it is. The symphony that plays in the background, that backing track, that gets stuck in my head. The chorus gets stuck in my head. That British sounding kind of British pop. Yeah, it stays there. And thanks to this video, it'll probably be in my head for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Thank you. Thank you for that. Number 12, a historically significant artist. I was originally going to mention Chuck D from Public Enemy, due to the man behind, the voice behind a movement that, or carrying on a movement that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X started back in the 60s. And they basically started conscious hip hop, that African conscious hip hop. And since I already mentioned Public Enemy earlier, I decided to go take another direction, and another musically and historical influential person is James Brown. And there's no doubt that he has influenced other artists. Mick Jagger, David Bowie, Michael Jackson have all been influenced by him. It's like he formed a genre, funk, and he is the staple of that genre. Yeah, I said maybe some may have done it better. I was about to say that, but really, no one has done it better. They've just tried to improve upon the essence of James Brown. And he's influenced other genres like hip-hop. 80 to 90% of the samples from the 80s and 90s are from James Brown. And he is quite possibly the most well-sampled artist to this day. So yeah, James Brown. Influential. Number 13. Yeah, number 13. I think I said 13 for the last one. That was number 12, if I did. An album you own because of your parents. Well, I'm going to separate those out because Mom and Dad listen to completely different music. Mom, it's mostly been pop for me, especially stuff from the 80s, radio. I remember she would drive me around to school, daycare, and that kind of stuff. And but one album that I loved, and this isn't the album, she had a greatest hits album. One album that I know she loved was Captain and Tennille Greatest Hits. And this is Love Will Keep You Together by Captain and Tennille. I just have a place in my heart for this song. Not sure why. Maybe it's the nostalgic factor. Maybe it's just that my mom loved it. And the background of the Greatest Hits album is a black background with silver C&T, I think, or maybe it's Captain and Tennille. Yeah, just something about this album, that song anyway, I really enjoy. And a number of these songs are on their songs on this album are on the Greatest Hits as well. So that Greatest Hits. So my dad and I really don't connect musically. We really don't connect on a lot of things unless we're like griping about homeowner associations. But I guess I kind of have a place in my heart for country because of him. My dad's a big Willie Nelson fan, and he's also a big Johnny Cash fan. So I would say that Willie Nelson is he's probably the reason why I have Willie Nelson in my collection. And so, yeah, not necessarily a specific album, because we don't really sit down and listen to music together. But yeah, Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash I just love. And Willie Nelson, that older country, I like, and I think that might have came from him. So, number 14, best dollar bin find. I don't shop the dollar bin. I just don't. So I didn't really have anything for there. But number 15, favorite double album. I am not going to show my absolute favorite because that would be my top 1 of 100. And I'm not giving away any spoilers. So you can probably guess what it is, though, if you watch my channel. But I'll show you something that I don't show enough. And I really like this artist. This is a Mon Tobin electronic artist. And this is the soundtrack to Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. He did the music for all that video game for, I think it was for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Maybe just the Xbox 360 out. This is a great album. I wish I was doing some needle drops. I'm trying to keep this one short. I'm trying to get this one out as quickly as I can as well. Tremendous album. Mon Tobin, as I said, he's an electronic artist known for using sounds in his environment, in the environment around him, to make it into an album. And yeah, he's got some of that in this. But yeah, some of these songs are so good and they're just kind of haunting. Really suspenseful sounding. Great for like a Splinter Cell sneak up on you and kill you type of video game. So, Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell soundtrack. An album you learned about from the VC last year. This one might not be last year. It might be. But this is, I learned from Andy. I have like 5 or 6 more, so I went overboard on this. But I learned this from Andy Borders, also known as, back in the day, Andy's Vinyl Den. Nonagon Infinity. This is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I had known of King and Gizzard. I got to say the whole name. I known of them, but I never heard them. And Andy was the one that said, pick this up. This is a perfect album. Listen to it. So there's one. The next one. Learned this from Andrew, Tales from the Crate. This was in his top 100. This may also have been in 2017 when I learned about it, but I really think it was last year. And this is, gosh, what number was this? Yeah, no, I don't have that. I thought it's like number 50. You saw the corner, so Andrew, you knew exactly what this is. Segall, Slaughterhouse. And man, Segall, I've got a couple of it. One you gifted to me in contest winnings, Andrew, and love that album. I think that's actually my favorite. And then I've bought a couple of his albums too. So I have 3 or 4 of his albums now. And gosh, I'm really glad I know Segall. So that came from Andrew. Next one is Jeff Kempen. And while I definitely knew of this group, this is actually a group that one of my mom's favorite groups. But I just can't get into them. And this is Fleetwood Mac, but more importantly, this is Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, which I would have kind of passed on until I heard Jeff Kempen say, this is great blues rock. I'm like, what? So I listened to it and I bought it. So thank you, Kempen. I don't know why I called you by your last name. Thank you, Jeff. That was a great pickup, and thanks for pointing that one out to me. Next one is DJ High Noon, Tim, He went, he and I were at the record show back September 30th here in Orlando, and he picked this up. And I saw this, and I'm like, a musical? Why are you picking up a musical? And he's like, oh man, this is great psych rock. This is great prog rock and great art rock. And I'm like, huh. Found it about a week, maybe a month later, and picked it up at Triangle Vinyl. And wow, yeah. I like the cover, but I like covers that depict what the music is like. And this would have been a pass for me. I'm like, oh, I don't need another musical in my collection. But Tim, thank you. This is a great album. You've said to skip all of their other work, just worry about this one. So thanks, man. The next one is from Ron Haggerty, and this is when he and I went crate digging in March, and this is the debut album to Starcastle. And Starcastle is prog rock. Really, really like this stuff. And yeah, Ron, thanks for pointing this one out to me. And then Brandon, I don't have something to show from you. I haven't gotten it yet, but it will be in a future video. Vinyl in My Veins. He mentioned the group Slift, S-L-I-F-T. It's kind of a psych rock. They're on Bandcamp. And Brandon, something I forgot to mention earlier, he picks up a lot of rarities off of Bandcamp. So he's got his finger on the pulse of new stuff that isn't readily known. Really, really cool. So a 10-inch record. I was going to show Desert Sessions 9 and 10, which was a most wanted from last year. But I've already mentioned Josh Homme and Queens of the Stone Age quite a bit. And if not in this video, in other videos. So I decided to go with the most annoying box on 10-inch that you could possibly go with. And Andrew, you know what I'm talking about. This is Thundercat Drunk. This is a tremendous album. It's just on 4 10-inches at 45 RPM. So you get at most 3 songs and at most 7 minutes per side. Red vinyl. Great, great. I mean, the package, the box set, spectacular. They went all out on this, and the vinyl sounds incredible. It's just annoying. You only get to hear 2 songs. Oh, the first side has 4 songs. But I know that they're all short. So there you go. Thundercat Drunk. I would say, though I haven't fully listened to it, I've just heard others talk about it. Possibly a cool album is a cool cover with a bad album is the remix version of Thundercat Drunk. It's that cover in purple, but I don't have it, and neither have I listened to all of it. Show a 7-inch record, and this I picked up from a guy in Brandon, Florida, which is 30 minutes south of Tampa. I call the guy DJ George. He used to be a DJ. I don't think he's a DJ anymore. For live, like weddings and those kind of things, not on the radio. But I learned about him on Craigslist, and I don't know why I'm saying this story without showing the record first, but so I learned about him on Craigslist, and he sifts through his collection. Apparently he has a huge collection. I mean, yeah, he would just, if he didn't have the song, he'd buy it for something, you know, for a wedding or a dance or something. Anyway, so I've been to 2 of his sales, and I don't know if he does it anymore. Craigslist is kind of dead when it comes to vinyl now, but at least it is here in Orlando. But I got this 7-inch, and this is Another One Rides the Bus by Weird Al Yankovic, which is his, I think, his first song that he ever released and actually performed on the Dr. Demento show back in, I think, 81? Yeah, 1981. Well, go me. The funny thing is, this was distributed in Florida. That's pretty crazy. But this is a promotional copy, which is kind of cool. It kind of sucks that I have price sticker on the label on the side A, but anyway, Another One Rides the Bus. He performed live, and so it's technically his first single, which is kind of cool to find. I really like Weird Al. Actually going to see him in June. I forget what tour this is in, but he's playing at the Hard Rock here in Orlando, and I snagged tickets. I'm way in the back, and I paid way too much money, but I mean, it's like Blue Man Group. It's like, you know, it's Weird Al. Come on. Wow. Crazy. Number 19, favorite album to fall asleep to. Something about me, I don't fall asleep to music. I can't fall asleep to music in the background, TV in the background, radio, movie, whatever. I don't. But one album that I have fallen asleep to, technically, if I'm in at Massage Envy or something and getting a massage because I pulled a muscle in my back, which happens every now and then. It sucks getting old. Oh, jeez. I fall asleep to that new age trance type music. Plus, I mean, the cot or whatever, the bed, the massage table, there you go, is warm because I always ask for the heater to be put on, and that doesn't help either. So, yeah, just everything there makes me fall asleep. But strangely enough, I've fallen asleep to this album, and this is Diesel Boy. This is Dungeon Master's Guide, released in 2004, I think something like March of 2004. A couple months after I moved to Florida, I know this was released. And this, this drum and bass, this is some of the fastest stuff you'll hear. I mean, we're talking 140, 160, 190 beats per minute. Yeah, but probably around 160 beats per minute. And I had this on my iPod, listening to it in earbuds. Just listening to it in my bed, and somewhere around track 16, which is Take Me Away. Take me away from here is the whole sentence. I think it was kind of sensory overload, and I was out. And so, yeah, this is definitely an album that I've fallen asleep to once. Great album. If you like fast-paced electronic music, you either know about this or you need to get it. There we go. And wrapping it up with question 20. Your favorite VC experience and or advice for anyone who's thinking about making videos. I'm going to do both here. So I've got way too much to say, and I know I'm going to tear up. 2018 was tough. Between my cat getting really sick in February of last year, and then my engine dying in August, and then that whole rigmarole of 2 months. VC was there for me for both. And I thank you for your thoughts and for your prayers and for your vibes. Yeah, it was really, really cool. Thank you all. Yeah, the community was the best it could be in both of those moments. And I think as bitter as they were in my life, the community that gathered around me was really cool. Thank you all. There's too many to name, and I won't do this justice by naming people. Yeah, thank you. Had my first VCLT, several VCLTs afterwards in 2018, and that was with Jeff Kempen. Was able to get an album that I didn't even know meant as much as it did for him, and I just happened to see it in vinyl and got it. And then he shared some really great blues albums with me afterwards, and now I've gotten him into trip hop. All right, yeah. That's so cool. Just the friendships that I have in the VC, the meetups as well. Got meetup with Ron Haggerty, and then Tim and Alex Spins Vinyl, which, well, that was this year. So that one doesn't count. Kidding. It was really cool. But just the meetups that I had last year, really awesome to meet up with everyone. And planning some more for this year as well. Awesome. First record show as well, that meetup with Tim. And the cherry on it all was the contest winnings from Andrew, which I just finished listening to. It took me 4 months, a couple of weeks ago, but there are sometimes I don't know what I want to listen to, and so I'm kind of perusing through my collection, and I have 24 albums in there now, Andrew, that I cherish because they're from you. And looking through for an album that I want to pick out or something like that, I come across, the Replacements, or that Desert Sessions album, or Betty Davis, or Zephyr. I'm not going to name all 24. Captain Beefheart, Ty Segall. And it reminds me of you and my friendship with you, and winning that contest, and just all of the things around it. And it really made a great end to a kind of a crummy year. And so really, what I'm trying to say is all of the friendships that I've made over the last year and a half to 2 years. I've technically been doing this a little longer than 2 years and 1 month, and started February 11th of 2017, and I'm so glad I did. And this runs into the next is, what words of advice would you give anyone who's contemplating making videos in the VC? And my advice is, do it. Just do it. This is a great community, a loving community. There are a few, that aren't so loving, but you know what? The vast, vast, vast majority are supportive, love what you do, and go for it. Get your phone, get an old, this is like a 10-year-old HD camcorder that I bought for I don't know what I paid for it back 10 years ago, maybe $700 or $800, but it ain't worth anything now. And just, get a cheap light if you want to. You don't even have to. You just get your cell phone, prop it up against something, and just hit record. Hit record, and You don't even have to video edit. Just load it up from your phone, you know. Just do the simple things. We'll watch them. And if you want to, you can hone your craft. You can get a different camera over time, but you don't have to. You don't have to. And so that's my encouragement. You have something to share. You collect records. You have more than 20 or 30 records. You have something to offer. And so tell us, even if you're new to vinyl collecting, some of us have been, not me, but some of us have been doing this for decades. Share that new experience of finding a group for the first time with us. Yeah, and we'll do our best to support you. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give. Just do it, and don't worry about the quality. And if you want to, you can hone your craft later. So everyone, that's the 20 questions. This is like a 50-minute video. Hope everyone's doing well, and yeah, listening to great vinyl. Take care, everyone. See you in the next video.